Bill Ackman's big play for a piece of Universal Music Group through his SPAC Pershing Square Tontine Holdings. I spoke with Ackman a little while ago. He told me he was very excited about that deal and that he expects it to be signed later this month, likely by June 22nd. It's a complex deal, as you've heard, for sure. But if you look at recent analyst reports, as I did, it would suggest that Ackman is getting a pretty good deal. Goldman, for example, in a report published last month, right here, they put Universal Music Group's valuation $44 billion, whereas Ackman's deal would have an enterprise value of some $35 billion, a significant discount, at least by Goldman's calculations made last month. Further, if you look at an apples-to-apples comparison to where, say, Warner Music currently trades, the price Ackman is paying is about a 10 to 15% discount, and Warner is the number 3 player in the industry, behind both Universal and Sony, according to data I saw from earlier this year. It's also a more levered company in comparison with Universal and comes with fewer voting rights for shareholders, given that company's control structure. By comparison, Universal has the most market share in the U.S., about 41%, and 30% market share globally. It's also been taking share. Margins have been increasing as, like many players in the space, it's been benefiting from the tremendous growth in streaming. But there is more. Ackman's investors will also get roughly $5 in cash in what remains of Tontine, which essentially now becomes a smaller version of itself, with $1.5 billion in cash to go look for something opportunistic to buy. And they'll get an opportunity to participate in what Ackman is calling a special purpose acquisition rights company. It's a mouthful, or a SPARC, which will trade on the New York Stock Exchange, and what is essentially a long-dated option or warrant to take part in the next deal. Unlike a SPAC, though, there's no time limit on when Ackman has to find a target, which means he doesn't face that pressure to do a deal, and investors get to opt in if they like it, if they like what he ultimately finds. In other words, they don't have to put up any money up front, and if they don't like the deal, they don't have to participate and can sell. Take a look at shares today of Ackman's SPAC, Pershing Square Tontine Holdings, down by about 11%. Our Leslie Picker following the money, as always. So there's no more mystery of what he was looking at. Now the question is sort of what happens next and what you make of what the stock is doing right now, Les.
Exactly. The question, at least on Reddit forums right now, especially those who were hoping for an acquisition of Subway or an acquisition of some of these other companies that were, being kind of bantied about on these forums, is what does he do with this so-called SPARC? As you mentioned, it's interesting because Ackman is historically known for sparring with CEOs in traditional activism roles. Now he's created this new term, SPAR, which is part of the SPARC. These are the special purpose acquisition rights shares, which will be publicly traded. This is kind of like almost like a bonus as part of the transaction for current shareholders. They get these rights to potentially participate in the next deal if they choose to. If not, they can sell these rights to other shareholders or other people who are interested. So now the question becomes, what do you do with the next purchase? Now, the way this transaction is structured, they actually have more than $10 billion in purchasing power to do another deal here. The first deal, this Universal Music Group deal, isn't actually a reverse merger in a traditional sense. It's more of a shareholder, a shareholder swap there, because Vivendi is taking that company public later this year. The shareholders in the SPAC the deal will close before they actually have a publicly traded share that they can work with in Universal Music Group. So kind of an interesting, unique situation there. Now, the next one is what people are looking to, and people are hoping that maybe their company that they'd been banking on this whole time will be what he uses with this whole SPARC structure.
It's confusing, right? Andrew and David have been doing a great job trying to explain it to everybody, because it's just different, Leslie, than what I think a lot of investors expected, not only in the target, but in the structure of what we have here, because it's really not a SPAC, even though investors got into this in the first place thinking it would be a traditional, if there is such a thing for such a thing, a traditional SPAC. And then the target, remember, Airbnb was the name that was thrown around all over the place, and this is not that.
Yep. Airbnb was thrown all over the place. Bloomberg was thrown all over the place. It's interesting because you see these dialogues take form where people are so convinced that it's going to be a particular target. People were so invested and had been anticipating the day where a DA or a definitive agreement was signed. And it's important to note that it has not been signed yet. This is still preliminary. And as you mentioned, the deal could still fall apart, although it's expected to be closed or at least signed later this month. But people were staking their hopes and dreams on what this particular deal was. Universal Music Group wasn't one that we saw pop up. I don't think I ever saw it pop up, although, you know, it's impossible to say with tens of thousands of comments on these forums. But it's a slower growing company than I think a lot of people anticipated. And it's one that was already set to go public. And so it wasn't a company that people were looking at, a private company, traditional reverse merger into the public markets. It's a different structure. It's a very outside the norm in terms of SPAC world. And in traditional Bill Ackman form, he's kind of rewriting the rules here.